Well, the day that many people who have been following what has been going on in Eastern DRC have been waiting for is finally here, the signing of the Washington Accord. But this is happening in the backdrop of heavy gunfire that is still ongoing in Eastern DRC, specifically in Kiziba, where the Burundian National Defense Forces, as well as the FARDC, are engaging the M23 actively at the same time, while the president of Rwanda and the president of DRC are in Washington, flanked by the president of Kenya and the vice president of Uganda to sign the Washington Accord. Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you about these two events, what is going on at Kiziba, where this heavy gunfire is still ongoing, as well as what has happened in Washington in the signing of this deal between Rwanda and DRC, and where the M23 lies in all this. Well, this is Bonafide. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe and hit the notification button so that when I release something new on Eastern DRC, you get notified as soon as possible.
The compact we're signing today, which will be known as the Washington Accords. Everybody sort of like that name?
First of all, I would like to express quite solemnly our deep thanks to the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald Trump. I would like to thank his administration and also wish to thank the American people.
But of course, the biggest vote of thanks goes to President Donald Trump.
Well, it was previously unprecedented, but now it is a reality that there is the signing of the Washington Accord between Rwanda and the DRC. The US has taken center stage in making both of these parties to come at a table and sign this Washington Accord. Of course, the US is going to benefit from this, as US companies have already lined up to extract minerals in Eastern DRC that they are going to sell to the rest of the world. Now, the issues that had to be addressed in this signing of the deal was the neutralization of the FDLR, as well as the removal of the defensive measures by Rwanda in Eastern DRC. Now, Rwanda has been accusing the DRC of harboring the FDLR. These are, according to Rwanda, people who want a change of regime in Rwanda. And Rwanda has been unsettled about this movement that they say exists in Eastern DRC. Now, on the other hand, the DRC government has been saying that Rwanda has its troops in Eastern DRC and that its troops are actively assisting the M23 in fighting against the FARDC. That it is Rwanda that has been assisting the M23, and that is the reason as to why the M23 is as powerful as it is and has been able to even fight the FARDC away from Goma and Bukavu. Now, the Kinshasa government has been open about this and say that it is not going to sign anything with Rwanda unless this particular clause, that Rwanda removes its troops from Eastern DRC. Now, it was a question of who actually blinks first, because there is this aspect of removing the FDLR, and then there is the other aspect of removing the defensive measures of Rwanda in Eastern DRC. Now, that has been the cause of confusion and even the initial postponement of this meeting that has happened in Washington. Now, the agreement was that there will be a neutral party that will oversee the removal of the FDLR from Eastern DRC and the removal of the Rwandan forces who are assisting the M23 in Eastern DRC. That there will be other countries that will oversee that the Kinshasa government has taken its steps in making sure that the FDLR is no more in Eastern DRC, because Rwanda accuses the DRC government of supporting the FDLR and even working in collaboration with the FDLR. But remember, at some point, the DRC government came out in public and said that the FDLR doesn't exist, that the FDLR is just a construct of the Rwandan government to justify their defensive measures that are assisting the M23 in fighting against the FARDC, so that Rwanda could benefit from the minerals in Eastern DRC. Now, Rwanda has also been saying that the DRC government has been assisting the FDLR to become stronger and cause threats against the Rwandan government. Now, the removal of these defensive measures of Rwanda in Eastern DRC are also going to be overseen by neutral bodies. This includes countries, for example, the countries that have gone to flank this signing of this deal, the Africa Union, the United Nations mission in Eastern DRC, that is MONUSCO, among other parties. Remember, international organizations, including the United Nations, have been saying that Rwanda is actively assisting the M23, that they have seen Rwanda Defense Forces crossing borders into Eastern DRC and working in collaboration with the M23, that there have been reports of the M23 crossing borders into Rwanda to get military training and then going back into Eastern DRC to fight the FARDC. Therefore, there has been this solid evidence by different bodies that Rwanda has been out there assisting the M23. Of course, Rwanda has been denying every bit of that particular accusation. Now, the DRC, Rwanda, and the border region will enter into a mutually beneficial economic partnership that is focused on mineral extraction, processing, and export. Now, a return to stability in the region is anticipated with the pending finalization of the agreement between the FCM23 and the Kinshasa government in Doha. Now, how is the U.S. going to gain from this deal?
Today, the United States is also signing our own bilateral agreements with the Congo and Rwanda that will unlock new opportunities for the United States to access critical minerals and provide economic benefits for everybody. And we'll be involved. We're sending some of our biggest and greatest companies over to the two countries, and we're going to take out some of the rare earth and take out some of the assets and pay, and everybody's going to make a lot of money.
The U.S. gains access to critical minerals and investment opportunities. Now, this accord paves the way for the U.S. and U.S.-backed firms to invest in DRC's huge deposits of cobalt, lithium, copper, coltan, gold, and other critical minerals needed for tech, batteries, and green energy. Now, this makes the U.S. to gain because the American companies get access to DRC valuable minerals, and the profits, supply security, and the strategic control of these minerals ultimately benefit the U.S. economy and, of course, its global influence. Remember, this deal has not been successful for quite some time. The Africa Union tried, it failed. The East Africa Community tried, it failed. There are other structures that also tried to have both of these countries to sit at a table and sign agreements so that they can stop hostilities against each other, but they all failed. But right now, we have this deal that is being pushed directly by Donald Trump, the US president, so that there can be a lasting peace in Eastern DRC. We are waiting to see how long this will last, or if one partner will see as if the other has gained so much and that will not agree to this deal later on. Now, this has happened in the backdrop of heavy gunfire at the same day while both of these parties went to Washington to sign this deal. There have been heavy fighting in Eastern DRC that has been reported widely between Burundian National Defense Forces, FARDC, and the M23. There has been reports that refugees have crossed the border into Rwanda seeking refuge, and that this gunfire is still continuing. There are also reports of heavy airstrikes by the FARDC against the M23 positions in Eastern DRC. The M23 has gone out in public to say that they are being targeted and that the general population is also targeted by the Kinshasa regime. Well, I'll continue to keep you updated and informed of the latest of what will come out from Eastern DRC. Now that there is still heavy gunfire, Burundi is now directly being involved in what is going on in Eastern DRC, as well as the signing of this peace accord. Keep it bona fide.